Hi everyone, this is Nicole, Lucky Vitamin's Category Manager of Personal Care, Beauty, and Aromatherapy items. It's great to have so many people joining us today for the Lucky Vitamin Wellness Webinar, DIY Holiday Gifts with Essential Oils. Thank you all very much. We are pleased and honored to have with us today Charlene Avery. Teacher, healer, and wellness expert Charlene Avery has spent 2 decades learning to improve life via natural healing. She has devoted her education and career to the area of holistic, balanced wellness. After completing her undergraduate degree at Iowa State University, she went on to further her education at Carleton College of Massage Therapy, Natural Options Aromatherapy, Thai Bodywork School of Thai Massage, Southwest Institute of Healing Arts, Sunshine School of Massage Therapy in Thailand, and most recently, Kavi Yoga Teacher Training, which is studying mind, body, spirit healing. Charlene taught aromatherapy, herbalism, and massage therapy for 7 years at Carleton College of Massage Therapy and has certifications in life coaching, holistic nutrition, Thai massage, hypnotherapy, energy work, and massage therapy. 4 years ago, she joined Cacia and Frontier Natural Products Co-op as a national educator and aromatherapist for the Cacia brand. Her passions are reading, writing, gardening, natural healing, yoga, hiking, camping, and travel. She enjoys time with friends and family and believes this world is made a better place by small acts of kindness. Before I turn things over to Charlene, just a few quick reminders. This webinar is being recorded and will be emailed to you after its conclusion. If you have any questions during the webinar, please enter them into the question box on your screen. At the end of the webinar, we will try to answer as many as possible. Thank you all again, and I'm going to turn this over to Charlene now.
Thank you so much, Nicole, and thank you all for joining me. We're going to spend the next about 45 minutes talking about essential oils and how they can help us with gift giving this holiday season. I've been using essential oils now for over 20 years, and I continue to be amazed at the many ways I can use my oils. They are as diverse as the plants they come from. And to really begin to understand how best to use them, we have to understand what they are and how we get them. So for those of you who have been using oils for a while, this can help guide you further with your usage. But for anyone new to using essential oils, I hope that by sharing this presentation, it's a helpful beginning to your process and it leads you down a road of making your own products and not just for giving gifts, but for yourself as well. Please know there are plenty of time for questions at the end of the presentation. I'm happy to answer those at the end, and I just look forward to sharing this with you. So I've been amazed over the years as I've gone down this journey in understanding natural healing and health about this funny word that we call aromatherapy. It's a pretty complicated word, but really we've sort of seen this revival of essential oils lately in the U.S. A lot of folks are interested in learning about them. A lot of folks have heard about them or know people that are using them. And with that has become a more intense focus on aromatherapy and essential oils. But the one thing that I like to share is that to know, first and foremost, you need to look at the word aromatherapy and think more about the second half of the word, the therapy side of it, instead of the aroma part. You know, a lot of folks will say, well, aromatherapy is all about good smells. And that is partially true. More so true that it's about smells, because not all of the essential oils that we use are pleasant as far as aroma goes. So it really is, you know, the word is speaking about the action of the essential oil and the benefit that it brings to us. But the key is that the plant that the oil comes from has to have a distinguishable aroma, and it has to have the oil that we can extract. So that is really a breakdown of the word aromatherapy. The plant is aromatic. the part of the plant that the essential oil comes from depends on the plant source. And, there are many popular examples. Lavender is the most popular essential oil. Its essential oil traditionally comes from the flower. We can get an essential oil from the green parts of the plant, but the oil that most folks love the aroma of comes from the flower. And on this slide, I have a couple of examples. Neroli, which is the citrus blossom, that's where the essential oil of neroli comes from. And then frankincense, which is a tree, the boswellia tree, the essential oil comes from the resin that's found in the trunk. So it's different depending on the plant, and it's different depending on the plant source where we get the essential oil. But know that plants that produce essential oils grow all around the globe. And one thing that I love about Acacia and Frontier is that we travel to the source, in many cases, of the soil of origin for the plant, which means that the essential oil tends to be stronger, hardier, a better aroma than a plant that's been transplanted in a non-native type of soil. But we can find plants that produce essential oils pretty much all over the world, and we travel and get them in batches for Frontier and Acacia. And then most essential oils come to us through a fairly simple process, steam distillation, where the raw plant material is taken and loaded into a still, and the essential oil comes out of the plant. The word oil can be misleading in and of itself to many folks, because when we hear the word oil, we think of something slippery or viscous, or something that we'd find in our cabinets in the kitchen, like a cooking oil. An essential oil is something that is, it evaporates very easily, it volatilizes easily. And when it comes out of the plant, it comes out with water. We can separate that during the condensation process. We can capture it at the very end stage and get the essential oil, and there's some water that comes out of the plant that's left over. But that oil, that substance, the essential oil, isn't really an oil that would clog pores or something that would be slippery. So throw out what your belief of an oil is when it comes to essential oils. And here's a great picture. Last year I was in Bulgaria looking at fresh roses. We had been in the fields in the morning. The rose petals were hand harvested and then taken back to the facility where they were going to be distilled. And most distillation of the plant material for the essential oil is done right after harvest. So it's a pretty quick process, quick turnaround to get this wonderful oil that we can use in so many different ways. But the thing about the essential oil, and what makes it so useful, and in particular in the many ways that we use essential oils right now, is found within the oil's chemistry. So the constituents, or the natural elements that occur or are found within the essential oil, give it its strength and its power. But the one thing you should know above all else when you're starting to use essential oils is that they are typically 75 to 100 times stronger than dried herbs. And what that means is that these are concentrated substances that come from the plant. So you want to make sure that anytime you use an essential oil, unless you really have specific guidance from a practitioner or someone who knows what's going on in your body, you should dilute the essential oil before you use it. You want to make sure to add it to something else. And when we talk about building products, for example, for gift giving, that's a great example of using the oil in a diluted form. You're making something with it, you're using it as an ingredient, which is how it should be used for most cases. So if you're like me, you tend to wait until the last minute to come up with a great gift for holidays. I tend to wait because, over the years I've learned that the best gifts are the gifts that are homemade. So several years ago, I began this process of making my sister a lavender vanilla body scrub, something that's very easy for me to make and something she really enjoys. The best part about it is that I take the time to slow down and make her something, and it's something that she really values. It's something she uses It's very inexpensive, and but it's a labor of love. So it takes me back to, thinking about childhood, and the best gifts I was ever given were really the ones that were a lot of love were put into them. So for the holiday season, especially right now, it's a perfect time to get started making gifts, and you can make something very personal to the person that you want to give the gift to. Some great examples would be body and room sprays, bath and personal care products, perfumes. Roll-on perfumes have become very popular recently. Home care products for cleaning and airspace, and you can really use the essential oil as the main ingredient to make many other products. But especially knowing, that somebody like my sister, the example of my sister, someone who loves the aroma of vanilla, and adding lavender to it for the benefit of lavender, then it becomes a gift that is very personal and very effective. So some basics about making your own gifts with essential oils. It's all about the ingredients. You want to keep them fresh. You want to keep them natural and simple. Think about using items that you have on hand at home. A lot of recipes that you'll find on the Acacia website are designed around the concept of making your own products at home. So we're looking at things you might have like sea salt, baking soda, Castile soap, olive oil, and we put those components into recipes utilizing the right essential oils, so you don't have to do the guesswork. We want you to keep it as simple as possible. And the one thing to know about making natural products is that their shelf life tends not to be as long as formulated products. The reason being that when you typically make something at home, you don't put a lot of preservatives into it. Even though essential oils can have some preservation effect, you still want to use your natural products within a couple of weeks in most cases. So when you make these gifts for your friends and family, tell them to take them home and use them. Don't just put them up on a shelf because those bath salts look really pretty. You want to get the most out of them and use them right away. When you're using essential oils, it's really important to make sure you have the right materials to build a recipe with. Some of the insight that we've received as a company as we've built recipes is giving better guidance around materials and handling. You want to make sure that any material that you're blending with or storing essential oils in, or even products made with essential oils, would be non-leaching. And that means you don't want to use a lot of plastics, especially. Glass is ideal for mixing and storage of products containing essential oils, and non-leaching metals, so no aluminum for sure. You always want to make sure you have the right measuring utensils on hand. If you get started with a recipe, it's, when you have a bunch of bottles open and containers open, if you have to then stop what you're doing to grab some supplies, that can slow down the process. So just make sure you're set up just like you would for any type of cooking recipe to begin the process of making a gift. So when we add the essential oils, we can use the essential oils in a lot of different ways. First, you can use oils to create an aroma. I mean, that's what people are drawn to is aroma typically. So if you want to make a body scrub or if you want to make a body wash, you find out what the person likes the smell of. Do they like fruity smells, sweet smells? You want to go with citrus oils. If they like floral, soft smells, lavender, geranium, rose, those are great floral examples. If you're going to make a body wash for a guy, you want to use typically something earthy or woody. Vetiver is a great one that guys tend to like. So you can use the essential oils just for aroma alone and still have something great. You can also here we go. Use essential oils to deliver a specific benefit. So you'll note that at least on Acacia labels, on the essential oil labels, we have one word to describe a benefit of the oil, but there are many, many ways to research and find out more about the essential oils. I'm going to talk about a handful of them coming up, to give you some better insight about what makes them work the way they do or what they could be used for. But know that you can look on an Acacia bottle and you could find calming, comforting words of that nature that will guide you toward the benefit that you want to try to accomplish. So, if you are making something for your mom and she has trouble falling asleep at night, maybe you would want to make her a bath blend that had lavender in it, because lavender is known for being relaxing. It's a good calming essential oil. Or if you want to make somebody a workout mist or a get up early and give them a boost kind of mist, you would use peppermint, which is a little bit more energizing, stimulating. So not only does it have a great aroma, but it also delivers a specific benefit as well. And then you can use the oil to get a specific effect, or combination of oils. So again, leading to the person who struggles with sleep at night, you can make them something that is benefiting to the bath situation. So lavender works well in the bath. Lavender helps with relaxation and it helps with going to sleep at night. So you can use that to build a more complicated gift, or use that knowledge to build a more complicated gift, even though you're only using maybe one essential oil. And it's really because the essential oil has the ability to deliver so much when you use it in the right way. So a few of the essential oils that are great in recipes, especially this time of year. Citrus oils like lemon, which is a sweeter aroma, tends to be used in a lot of cleaning formulas. Think of home cleaners. Lemon's a popular aroma. It does well improving the appearance of surfaces. So it's a great one for home cleaners and homemade cleaning formulas. It's also great in small amounts in skincare, especially in body scrubs, because of its action on the skin and helping the appearance of the skin. And it's one that in the summertime we usually caution a lot of usage of lemon oil with skincare because of potential issue with increasing our ability to burn in sunlight. But in the winter months, it's a great oil that you can use in skincare, and you don't have to worry as much about that effect as you would during brighter times of the year. Sweet orange, another great citrus oil. Most folks tend to like the aroma of sweet orange. It tends to lift us up, it gives us a boost, and makes us feel happy and cheerful. So it's one that I encourage a lot of usage, especially in kids' recipes. If you're making a roll-on perfume for a little one, or if you want to make a happy face mist for kids, sweet orange oil would be a great one to throw into the mix. Frankincense, which is always popular around the holidays, it has a long tradition with spiritual practice, and it's got a lot of association with health, healing, meditation, and it makes a wonderful addition, especially in any type of healing balms, skincare. It's great for winter skin, and it has a lot of properties that can be useful on the more therapeutic side. But its aroma is also one that is popular this time of year because of its soothing nature. And then bergamot, which is one of my favorite citruses, tends to be one of the most universally pleasing aromas. It's a lovely addition to aroma blends, any type of natural body care, because it's got a wonderful deodorizing action, and it does well in home diffusions and blends this time of year. So if you're making something to have in your home for the holidays, or folks are coming over, bergamot is a good one to have on hand. So I'm going to talk about the next 4 oils are really 4 of the most popular essential oils. I want to give some more suggestions, because for those of you who already use essential oils, you probably already have these at home. Lavender is the most popular essential oil, most well-known. It's one that, I said at the beginning, you want to make sure you dilute all of your essential oils. Lavender is one that folks can have been able to put directly on their skin, but it's still, I still offer caution if you haven't done that type of application before, start with a dilution of lavender. You want to make sure that your skin is protected even with this gentle oil. But practically, we can use it in just about every way you could use an essential oil. I use it in skincare, natural skincare. I use it in home cleaning. I've used lavender to polish glass before, which has been great, especially before the holidays, to help set the table and have this wonderful lavender aroma. I use lavender in body care. It goes very well in bath salts and massage oils because of its ability to help soothe muscle tissue. And it's one of the mood managers, so it helps us when we're feeling grumpy and frustrated, and it's also very calming. So for kids, for grouchy relatives that are coming over, lavender is a great aroma to keep the peace in the home. Now, as far as making gifts with it, some great pairings or ways to use lavender essential oil would be to add the lavender into a recipe for making your own bath salts. I personally love combining bath salts, so like Epsom salt and sea salt combined to get some different mineral content, and then some lavender oil. That's a great simple recipe to throw together for the bath. As a body oil or a massage oil, you can add lavender to your favorite fatty oil as a carrier or base. So, just lavender and sweet almond oil makes a very easy gift to give away with a great, put it in a great package with a purple ribbon and, maybe a little dried lavender in there for visual effect as well. And then as a perfume oil, because it's a popular aroma, a lot of folks like its aroma and want to wear it. So you add some lavender essential oil to grapeseed oil, for example, which is pretty light, and put it in a roll-on container, and you've made lavender perfume. And I'll give you some ratios at the end if you want to know how many drops to add. That's coming up. The next oil I want to talk about is eucalyptus, which is really effective this time of year, especially for any type of breathing issues. Kids are congested. We're starting to head into the winter months, and a lot of congestion, a lot of sinus irritation is going on. So eucalyptus has been a traditional natural home remedy. Diffusing a little bit of eucalyptus or adding some to a steam to breathe in is a great way to help open the breath. But practically, we can also use it for body care this time of year. Eucalyptus is found in a lot of bath and body products because of some of its chemistry, and so I like to use it in the bath when I'm starting to feel fatigued and I feel really worn down by the season. Eucalyptus is a great addition into the bath. I know a lot of parents like to use eucalyptus with children at night in vaporizers and humidifiers in their bedrooms. It's one that can have a little bit of an energizing effect. So sometimes parents have said to me, I use eucalyptus, but then my child doesn't seem to sleep as well. So I usually like to recommend pairing it with something that's calming like chamomile or lavender to help offset some of that effect, and it still is an effective way to have a nighttime diffusion for kids. So if you have somebody in your life that you want to make something that's a little bit more on the healing side, you can make some very simple chest balms with eucalyptus. There are a lot of great balm recipes online, and if you go to the Acacia website, we've got some as well. Again, bath salts, because of its effect. This is one that you really, if you add eucalyptus to bath salt, and with all essential oils, you want to make sure that you've filled up the tub most of the way before you put in any aromatic component, because you want to hang on to the essential oil for as long as possible. And in the bathroom, the conditions, the heat, the moisture will cause the oil to volatilize pretty quickly, and you could lose your aroma. So with eucalyptus, especially if you want to have the breath effect, you want to make sure to add the bath salt pretty much after the tub has filled, and then leave the bathroom closed and breathe in that space. And that's a good tip to guide anyone that you're giving some bath salts to. You could also make a simple mist with eucalyptus and distilled water, and that's just what I call like a clear breathing mist. Somebody that needs help during the day, that can't sit around, with steam towel over their head. You can send them a clear breathing mist to help them get through their day and help them breathe a little easier. Tea tree, one of the best cleansing essential oils, and it's used in a lot of skin clearing applications and home cleaning. I clean predominantly with So some products that you can make with tea tree oil would be cleansing sprays, so surface sprays, a good cleaning base for counter cleaners and surface sprays would be white vinegar, and then you add tea tree to that. Hand gels or sanitizing gels that you can take with you that are not alcohol based. You can use a little aloe vera and a good job for any type of cleansing or detox bath. So think about, after the holidays, or if you're coming out of a period of illness and you just need some recovery, tea tree would be a great addition to bath salt. And then the last of the essential oils I'm going to mention, peppermint, which is a great one. We smell a lot of peppermint this time of year. There's a lot of candy cane flavors, and mint is It's also one that helps give us energy, so it tends to be stimulating. I use it in a lot of different applications, especially in the morning, whether I'm, if I'm getting up to go work out, or if I have to get up early to catch a flight, or do something earlier than normal. I use peppermint to help get me going in place of caffeine in many cases. So some products, great products that you can make with peppermint oil would be a cooling mist, because even though it's a cool time of year, we don't always have the ability to control temperature in our spaces. So we can use it when we get into a place where somebody's heat preferences may be stronger than ours. Peppermint is great in the car. It's great for travelers because it has a very soothing ability, especially if we're feeling car sick or air sick. Just having peppermint in our airspace is a great way to counter the effect of that. So making a traveling mist for folks that are going to spend a lot of time on the road this holiday season, that's a good way to use it. And then also as a foot oil, good for foot massage, so adding it to like sweet almond or jojoba oil to massage into the feet. Very good suggestion to give as a gift to somebody who stands a lot and complains of having hot, achy feet at the end of the day. It's a good self-care type of gift. So in order to make the gift, or to come up with something, you have to have the right ingredients. And I mentioned some ingredients that you have at home, but some of the other components that I've mentioned. So fatty oils like sweet almond oil, good for bath, body massage oils. Sweet almond is great for hydrating the skin. It's good for winter skincare, especially as we get a little drier typically. Vegetable glycerin is another great component to have on hand because it tends to attract moisture to the skin. So if you're making natural soaps or creams or lotions, that would be a component you would want to have at the ready. And then cocoa butter, which is used a lot in natural skincare, good for very dry skin, very fragile skin as well, because it tends to be protective. But if you want to make a lot of heavier based type of products like body butters or hand and foot creams, cocoa butter is a great component. Grapeseed oil that I mentioned as a good carrier for a perfume roll-on. It tends to be light and sheer, and it absorbs really well. It's great for massage, for some folks. For people that need a lot of moisture, it tends not to be enough. But it can be used as a base for a bath oil or a perfume oil, and does a good job in those applications. And then rosehip oil, good for rejuvenating skin. And this is, if you want to make any type of facial product, or especially for somebody who's concerned with the healing of their skin, rosehip oil is one that I highly recommend for any type of targeted skin facial application. When we're following recipes, though, what we're doing is we're diluting the essential oil, like I mentioned in the beginning. That makes it does make the essential oil less concentrated, and if you smell an oil right out of the bottle, it's pretty potent. But when you add a few drops into a product, it's a more accurate representation of the aroma that you would experience from the plant in the natural world. So you want to make sure that you're diluting the right way and following some good guidelines to know exactly how much to use. We tend to live in a society where we don't follow recipes. We believe more is more. And with essential oils, that's just not the case. There's a lot of research to support just using a few drops at a time, and don't feel the need to overdo it, because that can keep your costs down, but you're still getting a lot of benefit out of what seems to be just a few drops. I mentioned this at the beginning, but we always offer caution: don't use undiluted oils on the skin. One of my favorite stories from a few years ago, I was traveling and was in a store and met a woman who said she loved Cacia's cinnamon perfume, but every time she wore it, it burned her skin. So I tell that story to illustrate the point that essential oils aren't perfumes. They should not be worn directly on the skin as perfumes, because we absorb them so quickly topically. They should be diluted to slow down the rate of absorption and to protect the skin, which can, people that use undiluted oils on the skin can create some issues. And I've heard many stories over the years of itching, irritation, dizziness, redness, photosensitivity. A lot of things can happen when you use too much of the essential oil or use it in the wrong way. So this is the chart that I mentioned. This is the, kind of an easy guide to let you know how many drops to add. If you're making any type of a body oil, you want to stay in what we call a 1 to 5% dilution range, which is about 6 to 30 drops of essential oil per ounce of carrier. And the carrier can be, typically is going to be something like I've mentioned, like sweet almond oil, a liquid carrier, but you can use some dry carriers like bath salts, clay powders, things like that when you're making products. However, you will want to have some sort of a fatty component to help the essential oil bind to the substance that you're applying it to. So in the case of bath salt, I always suggest adding just a little bit of a slippery oil like sweet almond or grapeseed oil before you put your essential oils into the salt, and that just helps them stick to the salt better, the essential oil. Body mist, you want to stay in the 3 to 5% dilution range, or 18 to 30 drops per ounce. Any type of air space, like an air freshener mist, 30 to 60 drops. And then in home cleaning, 30 to 120 drops, because you want more saturation of the essential oil if you're making your own cleaning products. We don't need to be as careful the further away from the body that we get with the number of drops. And in the case of cleaning, you want it to be really effective. So sticking to the numbers is really, really important. But you'll note on the chart there are maximum number of drops. And this is a general guide. What you do with lavender is totally different than what you would do with cinnamon leaf. So you have to sometimes do a little bit more research. But for most purposes at home, you don't ever want to go above that maximum number. And the minimum has been established, which is the minimum for healthy adults. When it comes to kids, when it comes to the elderly, or anyone who's sick, you start at the lowest number possible. And I would encourage all of you, if you're new to this, to do a little bit more research before you make something for for somebody who's sick especially. And then just, to reiterate, appropriate containers. Glass storage is ideal for essential oils. Dark glass is very protective to essential oils, and you can find a lot of great, glass containers that you can put your products in. They look nice. It's a nice way to present a gift to someone, and it's also effective at containing the essential oil. So I have 4 recipes in the presentation, and I'm just going to explain them and know that they'll be here as part of the presentation so you can access them later. But the first is a roll-on perfume, a very easy way to make perfume, combining 2 great essential oils, frankincense and ylang-ylang, which they smell great together. Frankincense can be a little smoky and earthy, and then the ylang-ylang is a heavy floral, and you put the 2 together. And it softens the floral, and it brings out different components of the frankincense to make a true perfume. And then there's a little bit of grapefruit added in here as well to round out the blend. But grapeseed oil is the base, and then you just need a roll-on bottle. It takes about 2 minutes to make this when you have everything ready to go. The next recipe suggestion I have for gifts would be a foot soak, and this is a cooling foot soak. This features a new blend that we put out this year called Comfort, which is a combo of essential oils. But you can use this recipe, and you could drop in lavender and make a relaxing foot soak, or you could put some peppermint in it and add more of that cooling component. But a great combination of sea salt, baking soda, and vegetable glycerin, and then you use that, give it to somebody, and have them add it into a foot bath or a tub that they can soak their feet in, and that's a perfect amount for 1 application, maybe 2. A great room spray, the Merry Mint spray recipe, features peppermint, sweet orange, and vanilla. Great combination of aromas, and it's also very holiday appropriate. So this is a good one to give, maybe as a hostess gift if you're going to a party, or to give to folks that are new to the idea of using natural elements in their home. This is a great, easy pull for them, and it just takes water, some essential oils, the vanilla extract, and a spray bottle. And then finally, a sugar scrub recipe, one of my favorites, combining argan oil, sugar, lemon, and lavender. Very good this time of year for dry skin. It smells great, and it's a great luxurious feel due to the argan oil in the recipe. So this would be a good one to give to somebody who really wants to take the time to pamper themselves. Some general safety about using essential oils. I've said it throughout, but not using essential oils undiluted on the skin. We can't stress that enough as a company. Be mindful of the appropriate dilution guidelines and individual sensitivities. As I have been on this journey, one thing I found out fairly early on was that my father did not like peppermint. He didn't like the smell of it, and I tried to put it in different things for him. He found out later on that he had a sensitivity to peppermint. So if somebody in your life says, well, I don't like how that smells, even though it was in a recipe you read, we should always go with our nose first and foremost. That's our body's way of telling us what works with us or what doesn't. So be really mindful of individual sensitivities, and just because I like rose, I can't assume that everybody is going to like its aroma too. And then I mentioned this earlier as well, but natural homemade products typically aren't made with preservatives, so they have a short shelf life. Give them away, encourage them to be used. And this is where I say don't be like my mom. I've made her bath salts over the years, and she puts them in the bathroom because she thinks they're pretty, and then they start to fade and lose their aroma over time. It's a waste. Use them up, enjoy them. That's why we give gifts. So that's all I have for you. I'd like to open it up now for any questions, but before I do that, I just want to say thank you for taking the time out of your day to join us for this. And these recipes you'll find on oracacia.com, but we share a lot of recipes and helpful tips around essential oils via our social media. So you can find us just about everywhere in the social media realm. But please visit our website because we have hundreds of recipes to support any type of gift-making endeavor, and I encourage you to use that as a great resource. So I'm happy to answer any questions at this time.
Thank you, Charlene. Just remember, if you guys have any questions, please type them in the question box on your screen now. And we are going to start the question and answer now. So the first question, what would you consider the best way to get essential oils into your system? Someone wanted to know if breathing is the most effective, so essential oil diffusion.
Yeah, that's a great question. When we breathe in the essential oil, the molecule is pretty tiny. So it passes the blood-brain barrier, and that's when we start to see a response. So even though lavender has been said that it's relaxing for centuries, folks have talked about the benefits of lavender. We can actually see now a change in the alpha and beta waves of the brain with inhalation. So we see relaxation taking place. I am of the mindset that less is more. So yes, I believe diffusion is very effective when we're trying to target like emotional, mental support. But if I want, if I'm looking for a good, relief in after a workout or muscle care, then topically is the way to go, if I want to use the right oils to help take care of my body. So it just depends on your goal, but first and foremost, emotional health leads to other areas of health. So diffusion is the first thing I recommend.
Okay, thank you. I know that when you were discussing the eucalyptus oil and about parents putting that in their children's vaporizers and right before bed, to help with breathing, I personally do that with my kids, and I did notice that they do get a little extra pep in their stuff right before bed. So thank you for that information. So now I know,
you bet.
Yes. Something else for calming effects.
That's right.
Yeah, so thanks. And the next question, someone would like to know if you can use essential oils on pets.
Yeah, great question. That's a really hot topic right now. There is a lot of information and misinformation about essential oils and animals. And I always say first and foremost to treat your pets like you treat your children. When it comes to oils, we need to use heavier dilutions with animals than we would with humans because they're smaller, they circulate differently, and really know your species, because what we do for dogs is different than what we would do for horses, and that the two of them are totally different than what we would do with cats. So I encourage you to do some research. There are now several great books about aromatherapy in pets, aromatherapy for animals, using essential oils that have been written by vets and folks that have worked with pets specifically with essential oils. But this time of year, I'll tell you, as a dog owner, I have one little and one big. I've got a lab and then a little papillon. I use essential oils. I use them in distilled water, and I will spray them above the dogs and let the mist fall on them. I use a lot of lavender with them because it works, but it helps keep them calm when folks are coming over to the house for gatherings. And I'm not using the oil directly on the animal. They're interacting with it in their airspace. And in the mist form, it's a good way because dogs are pretty sensory creatures. They smell it and they respond pretty quickly. So I've done it enough now that my dogs actually, when I get out the spray bottle, they just run to their kennel. So it's a little conditioned response. But yes, you can use oils with your pets. Be very careful. Do some research. And if you have access to a holistic vet who's used essential oils, consult with them for any type of heavy-duty therapeutic stuff.
Okay, thank you. The next question. So You mentioned the vegetable glycerin in one of the recipes. We would like to know what that's used for. Is that just a carrier oil?
Oh, yeah, great question. So vegetable glycerin it's not really a carrier oil because it's a different substance. It's not a true lipid. It's stickier, and so it tends to go, it's a blending component in like lip balms and soaps because it's humectant. It attracts moisture to the skin. So one of the ways that I use it, especially this time of year, is if I'm making a massage oil or a body cream, I use a little bit of vegetable glycerin as like a booster for the moisture content. And if I make lip balms or soaps, then it becomes a heavier used blending component, but it's not truly a carrier oil. Thanks for that question, because that's a good point of distinction.
Okay, great. And then the last question, we would like to know if there's any recipes you have that deal with pumpkin or creating scrubs or facials with suggested bases, and someone would like to know about pumpkin, basically.
Yes, we, again, if you go to the Acacia website and our Facebook page, we did some stuff with pumpkin last fall. We have a lot of scrub recipes, but I love using pumpkin. I like using fruit in general as a natural base, like strawberries, avocados, in making masks and using them in scrubs particularly. So I would just say if you get on our website, you're going to find a lot of recipes that have different components like that, and I know specifically we've got some pumpkin-based recipes out there too. But they make a great, they have their own benefits, not just in the nutrients that they deliver to the skin, but in their ability to moisturize, or in some cases the acid has that kind of tightening and peeling effect on the skin too. So so definitely check out our recipes, because we've got some great features.
Okay, thank you. I know I'm definitely going to check out the rest of the recipes on your website. Definitely looking for ideas for holiday gifts. So thank you. And we're going to wrap this up now. So thank you all again for attending, and thank you, Charlene, for all of that wonderful information. If you have not already done so, please register for our upcoming webinar, which is actually tomorrow, Wednesday, December 2nd at 2 p.m. Eastern, which is titled 7 Tips on Healthy Eating for a Healthy Life, hosted by Dr. Ashley Russell. For more information, please visit LuckyVitamin.com and search keyword webinar. The Acacia line is on sale now in our Aromatherapy section, so be sure to check that out. And this sale will end December 9th. We also carry mason jars and empty aromatherapy bottles for all of your DIY needs, so be sure to check those out as well, and those are located in our holiday gift sale. So that concludes our webinar, and have a great day, and remember to spread the wellness.